Ba weep grana weepun bong, and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm coming at you with something very different. We've not done anything like this on the channel before, so this will be pretty cool in my opinion. So you know that lately we've been in communication with the team at VecTron Labs. So in my video that I released on Tuesday, my little news thing, Wednesday, sorry, it was Wednesday this week, didn't quite manage the Tuesday, apologies from my side. But what I did was I mentioned that VecTron Labs had updated some of their stuff and saying we now return to VecTron Labs that looked a little bit something like this. So you can see this at the top of their Facebook. We now return to VecTron Labs. And I said, okay, you've returned? So what have you been doing? What's going on? What's happening in the background? And I asked you, my community, whether or not you think it would be good if we could set up some kind of little chat with them or an interview. And I'm here to say we have secured 2 different kinds of interviews. Now I'll go into what I mean by 2 different kinds of interviews, but definitely on the first one and probably on the second one as well, I'm here to ask for your help because it was you who kind of asked and said that we needed this. So what I would like from this community here is I would like you all to tell me the questions you would like to be put to VecTron Labs, especially if you put a pre-order in at the moment. So if you've got skin in the game and you've put some money down and you've already put something up on Show Z and you're thinking, oh well, is this pre-order actually gonna come to fruition? I want to know your thoughts so I can put these thoughts to the team at VecTron Labs. So before we go into that, let's just have a little look because some of you may or may not be aware of who VecTron Labs actually are. So VecTron Labs are a new company. They're a third-party company, and they're currently focusing on this. They're currently focusing on their Devastator. So what we're looking at here is their webpage. I'll link that down in the description if you want to go check it for yourself. And this is their first dude. This is their first one. They're calling him Ringo. So if we go down, I'll explain as well a little bit about why Megatron is there as well as we go through. But as we go down here, we can see that this was their teaser for Ringo. So I have to say this is a very good looking Scrapper right here. So we'll call him Scrapper or Ringo. I may go between the 2 names. Ringo is what VecTron Labs are calling him. Of course, we would call him Scrapper. But this forms the leg of their Devastator. Now, something I have to say about their Devastator is it has already gone through some changes. Now, the original version of this that I saw looked like an upscaled, because this will be at masterpiece scale, looked like an upscaled New Age Devastator. But then there's some stuff that's gone on in the background and they've reworked a lot of stuff and it stopped looking like a upscaled New Age Devastator and looked like something that was a little bit more original. So this is kind of where we are, but these things keep getting delayed and there are people in the background who are saying that these guys could be some kind of scam. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about this and see some interviews that have already been done, Bobby Skullface has done an absolutely phenomenal interview with them already, and he's already done another video with them as well. So I will also link this down in the description because what I want is I want these questions from yourselves, but let's not try and double up what good old Bobby's already done. So let's try and find some new questions that are more meaning to right now. So if you watch Bobby's video and Bobby's already asked that question, let's not ask that question. If we want to elevate that question, if there's something in the answer that we got from VecTron Labs where we think, Bobby should have done a follow-up question, okay, let's follow up on some of Bobby's questions, but let's not exactly ask the same questions again. We want this to be something different, something original. So going back to their website, then we can see that they are also going to make, obviously, the rest of the Constructicons as well, but also, and this is something that I personally want to ask them as well, why say that we're going to work on this? They're a brand new company, and what I found to be very odd was that quite early on they said they were going to be working on a Metatron, aka their version of Megatron. So I'm quite interested to find out why they felt the need to say, hey, we're going to work on this and a Megatron and then everything gets delayed. So for me, even when they released it, I was like, it seems like too much for a brand new company. For me, it felt like they were promising way too much. This amazing Devastator, G1 orientated, more aesthetics, lots of changes, but also we're going to do a Megatron as well. But okay, let's do one thing at a time. So that's one of the questions that I certainly want to ask. Now, one of the things as well is there are pre-orders up. So if we go to Show Z, we can see here now there are already pre-orders up. So I especially want to hear from these people who have these pre-orders. You've got skin in the game. I would love to know. Now, the deposit is only obviously $1, but that is $1. Someone somewhere is taking your monies, and so far nothing is getting delivered. So really want to understand how you're feeling. If you've got skin in the game, how are you waiting, and what is going on right here? I think it would be a different thing if there weren't pre-orders up, and I think I've said this in a previous video as well, that if they hadn't started putting pre-orders up, and I don't know how the finances split between Show Z and the creator when there's a pre-order put in, especially when it's only $1, but if there wasn't anything like this and they were just making promises, then okay, take as long as you need. But when there's pre-orders up, there's money being taken, there's all these things, and things are just getting kicked down the road, and there seems to be a little bit of ambiguity coming from the creators themselves. That's where we need to start asking questions. Moving over to their Facebook, and we can see there's not been too much activity there since November the 1st. Now, they're saying that on December the 22nd, that's when there is going to be some more stuff going on around the whole project, and also the Ringo prototype mode that we can see right here with the alt mode and the tune version and combiner mode vintage 2.0. Now, this is where I'd like to kind of explain a little bit about the communication that I've had with VecTron Labs so far. So I reached out to them yesterday after we mentioned that we would like to do some kind of interview with them. And also just said, hey, you know, I know we've had a few connections. What's been going on? And they came back to me and said that in the background, they've been working really, really hard on some structural changes. They're now led by someone who they lovingly refer to as Dr. Robotnik, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm a little bit of a Sonic fan, so I like that. So that was fun. But then they're also saying that they've made some changes, and they're getting ready to, as we already know, on December the 22nd now, talk about the changes that they've made to Ringo. So what we've decided is, or come to an agreement on, is there's going to be two different interviews that we do. The first interview that we do, I will get to in a second, because this again is where I need our help. But shortly after the 22nd, when they release all the images, we're going to do a video interview with them. So that is coming. First of all, what we need to do though is there's going to be a written interview. So this is where I need your support as the community. I need you to tell me, what questions do you have? So what questions have you got for VecTron Labs, especially if you've put down a pre-order? If you've got skin in the game, what questions have you got? But these questions are going to be different. So the questions that we're going to put to them are going to be different to the ones, like I've said, from Bobby Skullface. If Bobby Skullface asked that question, we're not going to ask that question. So we're going to put everything to them in written format. Then they are going to reply in written format. The questions that you ask, please ask them on my email. We have an email address at the bottom of every single video that I do. I put my email address. So please send them to me via email, or you can put them in the comments of the video if you would like. All the questions will be sent anonymously over to the team, and they'll just come from my email address. I'm not going to put somebody asked this, Dave has asked this, John has asked this. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to add some questions. Then when I get the replies from VecTron Labs, I will then create another video letting you know what their responses have been. It'll probably be in a very similar format to this, but I'll have the questions here so that we can see those questions, right? So this is the format that we're going to do. 2 interviews, 1 written, all the questions, some from me, but most of the questions coming from yourselves. And then we move over to a full, hopefully Skype or Zoom interview, because I haven't got a clue how to work Discord. Maybe I'll have to try and find out between now and then. So there will be the video one that comes afterwards, which is more of your classic questions. And also we'll have a little bit more to talk about, because we'll have some new images and we'll have some foundational questions that we can then build on. So, now, over to yourselves. Any questions you have for VecTron Labs, please send them in to me. Comments at the bottom, or over in my email. But please go and watch Bobby's video, check out their Facebook, check out all of the information that we have on VecTron Labs so far, and let's really ask them some great questions and get to the heart of this matter so that we can either decide once and for all, I'm not going to put my money on this, or actually, it is something worth investing in. I'm still open-minded. Hopefully this community is as well. I know some people feel already burned, and maybe there's some great questions that they can also come up with. And I probably should mention, let's spend about a week. So let's get all of the questions in to the channel by the 15th of December. As always, thank you so much for your support. We made it happen. So let's see where we go from here. Thanks everybody. If you're new around here, please think about giving me a like, a share, and a subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Alright team, in a bit. Peace!